try it again for another triangular here at Hyde as Pierre will host to Sioux Falls East and Minot here tonight. Last Thursday, we tried this for the opportunity for a triangular, got through the first two games, and then end up getting rained out against Sturgis in that final game here against Sioux Falls East and Minot, as Greg Dean joins me here in the broadcast booth. And Greg, the difference, we'll first talk about the weather, because there still is a possibility of some weather here tonight, again, just like there was last Thursday. But the difference for tonight is that Minot will stay overnight, so we might have an opportunity to play really late into the evening, depending on how the rain goes. And if it's just lightning around, we could delay a little bit. So the chance of us getting both games in or all our games in are a little bit more so the opportunity, although we're looking at potentially seeing some rain. So we might be backed up to begin the day almost.
Yeah, and anytime you get into the summertime, you just don't know what the weather's going to hold, and the forecast certainly looks like there's a possibility for rain or some kind of a disruption throughout the evening. So you hope that's not the case. You hope you can get all three of these games in, and so if we do, it'll be all the better. But I tell you what, it's going to be some good baseball. We've obviously seen both of these teams before. Post State has seen Sioux Falls East down in Brandon at a triangular, and then also was able to see Minot obviously up in the Minot tournament a week ago. So far they have played well against both of these teams. We'll see if they can continue on that line again today.
Yep, both 1-0 against each of these teams. They beat Sioux Falls East 8-1 back in just a couple weeks ago, and then they beat Minot 6-3 in that their game up in the Minot tournament. And for Sioux Falls East, they're going to face the guy that they beat on the mound in that first game they faced, in Ethan Frederickson. Frederickson, though, he pitched well. He gave up just 3 hits in 4 innings, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and 4 walks. So he did his job to have his team a chance to win. It's just that Gray Zabel and Kobe Carr pitched just a little bit better to get Post State that win. And then obviously Jackson Geertz came in and gave up the grand slam to Jack Van Camp, who is now on the mound here in game number 1 for Post State here today.
Yeah, and so it should be a pretty good pitching matchup. We were talking off air before we came online that Frederickson may be one of their top 2 or 3 starters for Sioux Falls East, and so if you pair him with Jack Van Camp, who really has inserted himself as probably either the number 1 or number 2 starter in this Post State lineup so far this year. He has had a couple of just dominant outings, including the last time out up in Watertown where he suffered the loss, but it was a tough loss and a 3-2 heartbreaker to Watertown.
And speaking of Gray Zabel, we just mentioned him, who picked up the win in that game. We now start the post Gray Zabel portion of this season for Pierre, and who's going to take the reins as that guy that replaces him in the lineup, and that would be in this first game, McGuire Rasky, who'll be the DH.
Yeah, and obviously McGuire, a veteran presence, even though he's only a junior, he's in his 4th year of varsity action with Post State, and unfortunately is dealing with an elbow issue that is probably going to keep him out of the everyday lineup, but he still has an ability to swing a bat, and prior to going down with that elbow injury earlier in the year, he was actually swinging one of the hotter bats for Post State. And so if you have an opportunity to insert his veteran presence along with hopefully that bat from the left side, you certainly give yourself an opportunity to give yourself and put yourself in a good situation. And I think we talked about it off here. I mean, right now that kind of first base DH role that Gray Zabel played, is probably up for grabs among whoever steps up and can kind of take the reins right now.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of different guys probably pieced into that lineup until we see one person that really takes it by the horns and really takes that spot away from everybody else, and will earn that spot absolutely 100% to kind of replace Gray Zabel in the lineup the rest of the season. It is Pierre and Sioux Falls East. They will play in game 1 here. First pitch is at 4 o'clock, so just about 10 minutes away. We'll step aside for 3 minutes. And we'll come back with more of the pregame show. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Hyde Stadium, getting set for this first game, and as we can't see to our west because of where we're facing the press box, as Greg Dean joins me here in the press box, there is a possibility of some rain hitting the Pierre and Fort Pierre area, and what looks like right now, unless it bringing some lightning with it, will not be enough to cause any of delay. That's the only chance that we do not start this game on time or have any kind of delay. I think with the what is potentially coming our way from the radar is that it's got to bring some lightning strikes with it to make that happen, Greg.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you hope that the weather stays away. I don't think anybody around the capital city is certainly going to turn down rain at this point. I mean, it was a nice shower we got last night, and so we're really hoping that the grass stays green and the crops and the trees continue to bloom and go forward. But I tell you what, Hyde Stadium really looks like it's in good shape. I mean, it didn't have a lot of wear and tear earlier in the year in the spring with the cancellation of the high school baseball season, and so now that we're past the 4th of July, the field is in great shape, and the temperature is just about perfect. We got a little bit of cloud cover. It's a great day to play baseball.
Absolutely, and we get a chance for 3 games here at Hyde Stadium. We'll bring you 2 of those 3 games as Post State faces Sioux Falls East here in Game 1, and then it'll be Minot and Sioux Falls East in Game 2, and then the third game will be Post State and the Minot Vistas. And Post State looking to go 2-0 against each of those 2 teams here as they are announcing the starting lineups. We'll go through those lineups. We'll go through Sioux Falls East here first. Leading off and playing second base is Grant Graber. Ty Schaefer will bat second and play third base. Tyler Boyham's the third baseman. I have to check that here. Tyler Boyham's the catcher as he bats third. So you can't have two third basemen. I guess you possibly could, but it's not really going to work out so well for him. Nate Sprinkle is the center fielder in the cleanup spot. Jaron Heinert is the shortstop batting fifth. And Aiden Beck is the DH batting sixth. Brady Christoffels is the first baseman batting seventh. Jaden Federal is the left fielder batting eighth. And Trey Runge is the right fielder as he'll bat ninth here for for Sioux Falls East against Post State and against Jack Van Camp, who is on the mound. And his counterpart will be Ethan Frederickson. As we are just about set here for baseball, a little bit quicker than what we were expecting, but we'll get to that Post-State starting lineup in the bottom of the first inning. But Greg, as we watch this game start here in moments, this is a big game here for Post-State. They beat Mitchell last Thursday, but those two losses, or I guess the loss to Watertown was one that you're kind of hoping you get. And I think if you go 2-0 against Sioux Falls East, maybe when you looked at the beginning of the year, that might be a team that you go 1-1 against. And right now you have a chance to go 2-0.
Yeah, anytime you know that both Sioux Falls East and Sioux Falls West are going to bring a quality team and put a quality team on the field anytime you play them. And so if Post-State can pick up a second victory against Sioux Falls East, that certainly will help them come the end of the year in the PowerPoint standings. We were hoping to maybe have some updated PowerPoint standings as we came into today. They're not quite ready for public release yet. And so like you said, that loss to Watertown, again, is a loss that you hope doesn't come back to hurt them at some point, but baseball's a funny game. I mean, you can play really well and one swing of the bat can derail you, and that's exactly what happened up in Watertown last week. And so hopefully hopefully Post-State can come back today. It was a nice win over Mitchell. Hopefully they can start a new win streak today with a couple of victories here against Sioux Falls East and Minot.
And Jack Van Camp was the man that was on the mound against Watertown and really threw well. He's going to start here against Sioux Falls East, and we'll talk about his start as the first pitch is coming to Grant Graber, and it's up and away for ball one as we start at 3:57 here on this beautiful Monday afternoon. Here at the Hyde Stadium, trying to get our week going a little bit quicker. The 1-0 is popped up in the right side and will get out of play, and it's now 1-1 here to Grant Graber. Van Camp went to all 6 innings. So they were the visiting team, so he only had to go 6 innings. The bottom of the 5th was his only blemish on the record there, or on that game. He gave up a 3-run homer to Mason Morris, and that was the only runs that he allowed in that game to Watertown, as the 1-1 is fouled back and it's now 1-2. And that, if it wasn't for that home run, could have easily picked up a complete game shutout as well.
Yeah, and he was really cruising. He unfortunately gave up a 2-out hit by pitch and then had a 2-out error and behind him on the defensive side, and then that brought Morris to the plate, and he put one good swing on the ball and put it over the right field fence. So again, just that's the way baseball goes sometimes.
And he starts out with a strikeout looking of Graber, and there's one down here quickly for Post-State as we go through the defensive alignment. River Iverson's out in left, Matt Luskin center, and A.J. Gayton is in right. Lincoln Keno's the third baseman, Garrett Stout the shortstop, Andrew Coverdale the second baseman, Andy Gordon's at first. Cade Hinkle will catch the first pitch upstairs for ball one from Jack Van Camp to Ty Schaefer. Schaefer went 0 for 3 back a couple weeks ago, as he now looks at ball 2 and is quickly 2-0 here to the right-hand hitting third baseman. Only 2 guys got base hits. They only had 2 hits against Zabel and Kobe Carr in those 7 innings. There's a line shot. There's a base hit for Schaefer, and there's one on with 1 out here in the top of the first inning. And here's the next guy that he had the other of the 2 hits, and Tyler Boyham. Grant Graber had the second hit for Sioux Falls East, then in the 8-1 win for Post-State. But Boyham steps in, the catcher here for Sioux Falls East in game number 1. Van Camp will work from the stretch. Here's the first pitch, and that one's upstairs and 1-0. So far, I guess the last 2 batters now, because that first batter looked really good. These last 2 batters, he's leaving those pitches up in the zone. The 1-0 pitch, that one will come inside now, 2-0 from Van Camp to Boyham.
Van Camp comes into the game team leader in innings pitched at 23, two wins, 3 losses on the year, 18 walks, 29 strikeouts, now 30 with that first one of Graber. And so he's actually topped the 30 strikeout mark to go with a 2.74 ERA.
Count is now 2-1 here to Van Camp. He'll come set from the stretch and deliver the 2-1 pitch to Boyum. Upstairs now 3-1. On deck is Nate Sprinkle, the center fielder, batting in the cleanup spot. Sioux Falls East already one hit away from matching what they had all of 2 weeks ago. A little booming thunder in the background. Now 2-2 here, 3-2 here to the number 3 hitter in Tyler Boyum. Van Camp will come set. Here's the 3-2 pitch. There's a ground ball to the left side. Stout will field on the backhand on the ground. Gets up, the throw to first is in time. And what a play by Garrett Stout to at least get one man on a sliding play to his left or to his right on the backhand. And there's 2 down. A runner is at second, but it could easily have been first and second with 1 down, as that'll bring in Nate Sprinkle.
Yeah, Stout had to go about 3 steps to his right, went to a knee to backhand the ball, and saw that his only play was going to be at first base, and luckily he's got that 90-mile-an-hour fastball that he can go across the diamond with, and was able to retire Boyum by a half a step. Close bang play over at first, and now Van Camp is just 1 out away from getting out of this mini threat here in the top of the first.
Lefty on lefty matchup. First pitch is a swing and a miss by Sprinkle. Nowhere close to touching that. Way behind. He went 0 for 2 against Post State over in Brandon. And the 8-1 win for Post State. Now 0-2 to Sprinkle, as that one was caught the outside edge.
Van Camp's gonna sit. Probably, he's going to be pretty consistent in the mid 80s with his fastball, and his if he has his off speed stuff working, he becomes really dominant. And that's what happened down in Brandon when he pitched against Sioux Falls East the 2 weeks ago, and then the last time up in Watertown. He really had the off speed stuff working, and we really had the batters fooled.
The 1-2 pitch. That one is in the dirt, and a good stop there by Hinkle. Now 2-2. Boy, it's getting a little bit darker out here. I've heard a couple of rumbles of thunder. Have not seen any flashes of lightning, which is good to keep us still moving. Here's the 2-2. Upstairs now 3-2. And Sprinkle has worked it back to a full count, and after being down 0-2. On deck is Jared Heinert. Coming set from the stretch, the 3-2 pitch. Right down the middle, and a Sprinkle will look at it for strike 3. And 2 strikeouts in an inning for Jack Van Camp. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Half an inning has gone by here at Hyatt Stadium. Sioux Falls East held scoreless. Post State coming to the plate. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Hyde Stadium as we hit to the bottom of the first inning, and the lineup for Post State, Garrett Stout will lead things off. He's at shortstop. Lincoln Keno is batting second, playing third base. Andrew Coverdale is the number 3 hitter, playing second. It is Andy Gordon, the first baseman, in the cleanup spot. River Iverson will bat fifth, playing left field. Matt Lusk is the center fielder, batting sixth. McGuire Rasky, the DH, batting seventh. A.J. Gain is in right field, batting eighth, and Cade Hinkle rounds out the order as he bats ninth, as he is the catcher. As Garrett Stout will lead things off, went 2 for 4 against Sioux Falls East a couple weeks ago. A lot of these guys that played in that game against Sioux Falls East all recorded hit except for Keenels and Coverdale. The first pitch to Stout is taken for strike one.
Yeah, and again, kind of this new batting order that Coach White has rolled out over the last week or so, with Stout moving up from the number 3 spot into the leadoff spot.
He'll launch that to right field, moving over as the right fielder and run. She'll make the catch, and the leadoff man is retired here in the bottom of the first inning. Federal's in the left field, Sprinkle in center, and Runge in right. Schaefer at third, Heinert at short, Gravers at second, and Christoffels is the first baseman. Boyum is the catcher. And Ethan Frederickson is on the mound for Sioux Falls East. And again, he was the pitcher of record in that loss to Poe State as the first pitch misses to Lincoln Keenels. He threw 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and 4 walks. He was relieved after the 4th inning, and then Van Camp in the 5th inning from off of Jackson Geertz hit that grand slam that proved to be enough for Poe State. As Keenels on the 2-0 pitch will ground it up the middle past the diving shortstop Heinert and in the center field for a 1-out single. And Keenels is on board for the first Poe State hit, looking a little bit similar to how that first inning started for Sioux Falls East, with the first man being retired and a base hit back up the middle. Here's Andrew Coverdale, the second baseman. A rare 0 for game for him against Sioux Falls East, when just 0 for 2. Haven't seen that very often from the second baseman Coverdale. Keenels will steal second. The throw might have actually gotten off of Keenels, but he steals second. And now he is in scoring position for Coverdale.
Coverdale coming into the game among the team leaders in a variety of offensive categories, 32 hits and 83 at-bats, tied for the team lead in triples, leads the team in runs scored to go with his .386 batting average.
The 1-0 pitch, Coverdale lines it to left field for a base hit, and it's going to bounce off the left fielder. Keenels will come around to score, and Poe State opens up a 1-0 lead on the single from Andrew Coverdale.
Yeah, and just a really good piece of hitting by Coverdale. Again, he just continues to hit the ball hard and on a line, and that time was able to just get it past the diving shortstop over there, and was able to, because of that and because of the steal, Keenholz standing on second in scoring position, then a bobble out in left field, Keenholz was able to score easily from second base.
So Poe State opened up a 1-0 lead. The first pitch to Andy Gordon misses low and outside for ball 1. He went 1 for 4 against Sioux Falls East back a couple of weeks ago. Andrew Coverdale will lead away for first. 1 down here in the bottom of the first inning. 2 hits already in the ball game for Poe State. They lead 1-0 over East.
Yeah, and don't be surprised if you see Coverdale in motion sometime either early in the count or some kind of hit and run play, especially with Andy Gordon at the plate. Andy makes pretty solid and consistent contact, so he's a really good candidate to put a hit and run play on and try to move Coverdale into scoring position.
The 1-0 pitch, Gordon will float it into shallow center field. That one's going to drop in for a base hit, and it's 3 straight hits here for Poe State, and they're in business again here with runners at first and second with 1 down, and that'll bring in River Iverson, trying to add to this 1-0 lead. Frederickson's got to say, you got to be kidding me here. All 3 of those balls haven't been hit that hard, and they're all finding a way to get through the infield for a base hit.
And that's the old adage of hit them where they ain't. That's the old Pee Wee Reese.
Iverson will hit this one hard, and that one, though, will be to the left fielder. The 2 hardest hit balls in the inning have been recorded for outs as the left fielder in Federal is able to make the catch. Stout and Iverson have hit the ball the hardest out of the 5 guys that have come to the plate, and they're the only 2 guys that have been recorded out so far. That'll bring in Matt Luss, the center fielder. Frederickson will come from the stretch. Here's the first pitch. That one will bounce off the catcher and Boyum, and didn't get it far enough away, but Gordon doesn't take off for second, but Coverdale's over at third. So now there's runners at the corners here with 2 down.
Yeah, just kind of a tough read. The ball kind of came in at about 57, 58 feet, and actually catcher did a nice job. Boyum did a nice job in just sliding over to catch it in his chest protector, but because of that.
And now Gordon's picked off, trying to get to second. Coverdale's going to come around to score, so they're going to get a second run. Gordon's going to get tagged out, but he did his job to get Coverdale in to score, and that will make it a 2-0 ball game before Gordon was caught stealing. And so that will end the inning. But Post State scores 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and no men left on base. We've played 1 full inning as the rain is starting to fall here at Hyde Stadium. Back in a minute. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today is KCCR, and today is KCCR.com. We welcome you back here to Hyde Stadium. Rain falling here at Hyde, but we continue here to the top of the second inning. The 1-0 pitch from Van Camp, or excuse me, the 0-1 pitch from Van Camp misses upstairs. Now 1-1 to leadoff hitter and Jaron Heinert. It'll be Heinert, Beck, and Christoffels, the first 3 hitters, which will be 5, 6, and 7 in the order. Now 2-1 here to the leadoff man, the shortstop, Jaron Heinert, who went 0 for 4 in that game against Post State a couple weeks ago in Brandon. The 2-1 pitch. That one misses outside, now 3-1. We were supposed to play over at Harmon Park, but they got too much rain the night before, and Harmon's in no position to get a whole lot of rain and then play the next day. So we had to go to Brandon. 3-1 is to the left side. One hopper to Stout. Bobbles the throw to first. He might have lost his footing as well. And the leadoff man is on base here to open up the top of the second.
Yeah, and Stout came up a little hobbled. He grabbed at the left hamstring. I hope it's just a tweak and something that he can play through. But we'll see how. We'll have to monitor that situation as the game goes on.
He seems to somewhat be okay. Maybe just a little bit of a spot in the dirt that just couldn't get his footing right. The leadoff man is aboard. First pitch is fouled back and out of play from Aiden Beck as we await the ruling on the leadoff hitter. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Instead, check over from Van Camp, and back in safely is Heinert. They're going to give Stout the air and to lead off the top of the second. First air of the ball game for either side. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one will come in and hit Beck. And it's now first and second with nobody out. And a 2-0 lead here for Post State. And now the first 2 guys have reached base, and the tying run is aboard with nobody out here in the top of the second inning.
Yeah, and what you really want after going up 2-0 in the bottom of the first is you're really looking for a quick inning, and let's see if Van Camp can dig himself out of this little bit of a hole that he's in right now. Ground ball double play would be just what the doctor ordered right now. First
pitch to Brady Christoffels is looked at for strike 1. Christoffels only had 1 at bats against Post State, went 0 for 1 in the 8-1 loss. The 0-1 pitch. That was a ground ball, maybe up the middle. Good play by Coverdale. Flip to second for 1. Throw to first. Just not in time. I got to tell you what, to make that even close, that's a fantastic flip from Coverdale and a turn from Stout to even have an opportunity for a chance for a double play to end the inning.
Yeah.
Or I guess it wouldn't end the inning, but it would be the second out.
Yeah, Coverdale went a long ways to his right just to pick up that ball. In fact, he was actually almost right behind second base when he gloved that ball and then had to make a quick flip. I almost thought he was going to have to flip out of his glove, but he was able to transfer it into his bare hand and then give credit to Garrett Stout for making a really good turn. He actually had to pivot about 270 degrees because when he got that ball, he was actually facing center field.
The first pitch to Jaden Federal is missed for ball 1 as joined by the mathematician Greg Dean in the press box. A 270-degree turn. I haven't heard that one in a long time. The 1-0 pitch Not since my geometry days of high school. Talk about 270 degrees.
You need to watch more skateboarding.
2-0 is the count. Whenever Bob Burnquist retired, that's when I quit watching skateboarding. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That one's chopped foul at the plate, and it's now 2-1. You thought I was going to say Tony Hawk, didn't you?
Well, I was waiting for next game's reference someplace in there.
Yeah, that's usually that's usually the only time I watch. I did have that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for PlayStation back in the day.
Back in the day?
Loved playing that game a lot. The 2-1 and check over to first, which is surprising because I have no idea how to skateboard, and I'd make a fool of myself if I tried.
Yeah, well, I'm still wearing a scar from the last time I was on a skateboard.
2-1 pitch is flown out to left field. Iverson will go back on it. He'll make the catch. Runner will tag from third. The throw will come in. It's cut off by Keenels, and it's now a 2-1 ball game with a sac fly from Jaden Federal, and it's a 2-1 lead for Post State.
Yeah, and just good play by Iverson to glove the ball. Knew that there probably wasn't going to be an opportunity to retire the runner at home, so just gloves the ball, gets it back in, and keeps the runner at first. And so even though you give up a run, you set yourself up in good position with 2 outs to get out of this inning without a lot of damage.
First pitch to the number 9 hitter Runge is taken high for ball 1. We got lightning, and so that will delay us here at Hyde Stadium, as there is a 1-0 count here to the number 9 hitter Trey Runge. So we will have to wait this one out, and I believe that the rules aren't necessarily a half an hour delay. It's just if lightning moves out of the area, we can get back to play. But I would think that no less than 15 minutes will be. And as we look at the radar, there's still some more rain coming from the west, moving southeast. It's actually northwest of us right now. So it'll be interesting to see how long this rain delay will last, or I guess maybe lightning delay will last, because it's not really raining that hard right now here at Hyde Stadium. We'll step aside here for 2 minutes. We'll come back and we'll kind of recap what we've seen here through the ball game so far. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Hyde Stadium, we are in a rain delay, or more of a lightning delay, as the rain. There is rain falling here, but that would not be the reason why we have stopped play. We had lightning in the area, so we're on a delay. The guidelines are half an hour, but depending on how we can get through this storm or get through this cell, we could get back to playing baseball a little bit quicker than what the half hour is actually at. As joining me here is Greg Dean in the press box. And Greg, what's going to be tough, and depending on how long this delay is going to be the two pitchers. And Jack Van Camp, who right now is a 1-0 count to the number 9 hitter, and Trey Runge, but also Frederickson, who has thrown one complete inning. It's hard to, if you have too long of a delay, to really get yourself back into, you have to go back and have warm-up tosses, and sometimes it just doesn't work out for pitchers that way.
Yeah, and I think it kind of depends on the makeup of both pitchers, and again, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, you can go into the dugout, and if you get into an extended delay where the arm kind of gets cold, and then you gotta go back to the bullpen and get some warm-up tosses in. It can be a bit of a challenge. I mean, you're just in that game mode as a pitcher. I mean, you're mentally there, and you're in the flow of the game, and now all of a sudden you're in the dugout, and you're twiddling your thumbs, and you're having conversations with your teammates, and you just kind of are kind of at a lull, and you kind of lose that edge a little bit. So if you have the ability to kind of regenerate and get back to where you were at the start of the rain delay, I mean, that's the pitchers that are going to be successful.
Yeah, and again, if we have just that one little bit of delay right now, it would be a lot easier for us to get back to playing baseball, and for those starting pitchers to have an opportunity to kind of feel more like a long inning of waiting for a team that's been scoring a lot of runs, more of a long inning than too much of a lengthy delay. But again, Jack Van Camp, he's on the mound. He's given up just it's one unearned run right now. They have a 2-1 lead, does Post State, after scoring 2 runs on 3 hits in the first inning as they play here against Sioux Falls East. And they will then face Minot later on tonight. And if we have too much of a longer delay, obviously the rain will not keep us from playing, but if the lightning keeps us from playing for a little bit longer, we might be here pretty late here on this Monday evening at Hyde Stadium.
Yeah, and another thing that you kind of have to have a little bit of a consideration for is, again, this is a South Dakota Class A team that Post State is playing today, so this is a counter game for seed points at the standing. So you got to figure that Coach White is going to do everything possible to try to put a W on the board in this game. And with the fact that, and we talked about that Gray Zabel has now moved on and has gone to Fargo to be with his now North Dakota State football teammates for the rest of July, and will not be with the team through the rest of July with the elbow challenges that McGuire Rasky is facing, and then the arm injury that Aaron Booth is facing. What had been a pretty solid and pretty deep pitching staff, if you take three of your top line pitchers out of there, it just becomes a concern. So you got to figure that Coach White is probably going to place a lot of priority on this game. The game against Minot, while I'm sure he continues to want to try to win that one, that one kind of takes. Yep. It kind of becomes secondary to putting a W on the board here in this first game today.
Yeah, and even coming up this weekend with the Dakota Classic, it's a team you'll play. Sioux Falls West, I believe, is in their pool. That's a game that you are concerned about in terms of not just the tournament, but just in general of playing a Class A South Dakota team, because no matter if it's a tournament or a regular season game, they matter for seed points. So that is a game that you want to win, and you're not too concerned then about the other 2 games that you're guaranteed in terms of if you go 1-2, no matter what, you want to at least win that one game against Sioux Falls West in that tournament, and then even going into the Veterans Classic, you're not as concerned about going 6-0 and winning the tournament as you are of making sure you beat the Hard Hats. And I think Sioux Falls West is actually in who they'll play on. I think they're actually going to play Sioux Falls East in the Dakota Classic, Sioux Falls West in the Veterans Classic over in Rapid City. Those are the teams that you're concerned about beating in those 2 tournaments, because that'll help your seed points going into the state playoffs here in coming up at the end of the month, 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, and in looking at the schedule, right now there are only 8 games left against South Dakota Class A teams. I mean, they've got a couple of other games sprinkled in there. They do play West Central coming up this weekend. West Central is in their pool, and then they've got some out-of-state competition both in Sioux Falls. They'll play West Fargo coming up this weekend, and then when they go to Rapid City, they'll play. I think they'll play the Junior Legion team actually from Post 320 is in their pool, as well as Gillette, Omaha Millard. Is in their pool out in Rapid City. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think.
Then the Hard Hats and Sioux Falls West.
Yeah.
Yep. So they're guaranteed 6 games, 5 pool games, and then wherever they're seated at the end will be on that Sunday, and that's what they'll play. So they play 1 game on Thursday, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and then that 1 on Sunday in the Veterans Classic. That's 2 weeks, 2 weekends from now, because this coming weekend is the Dakota Classic, where they'll play 1 game Friday evening and then 2 on Saturday. And then it depends on what they do, is if they will play on Sunday and when they'll play on Sunday with all that. So because we have that lightning delay, and looks like maybe the skies are starting to open up a little bit here in terms of things are looking a little bit brighter, but I'm not too sure that we'll be out of the potential of some lightning in the area. So what we're going to do is send it back to the station. We'll get back on the air. Let's see. We'll probably go about around 4:40, if not maybe a little bit sooner, if we are going to get back to baseball a little bit quicker. But we'll send it back to the station at today's KCCR. We'll couple some music here as we're getting closer to the 5 o'clock hour. But we'll send it back, and then we will rejoin you here about 4:40 as we throw things back here over to the station at today's KCCR. As we welcome you back here to Hyde Stadium, as we are set now really quick, ready to get right back to the game, as it'll be a total of about 17 minutes of a rain delay as the first pitch is missed. Actually, the second pitch is missed to the batter in Runge, as it's now 2-0 the count to the number 9 hitter in the order. One on with 2 outs here, as that one's going to be fouled off the bat of Runge, as he didn't even check his swing, but it hit the bat, so it's now 2-1. 2-1 is their score. 2 down here at the top of the second. Runner is on at first, and that is Brady Christoffels as we kind of reset you here in the top of the second inning. Jack Van Camp is right back out on the mound trying to finish out this inning pretty quick. 2-1 pitch. Misses upstairs and outside, now 3-1. And Runge is the number 9 hitter, so he'll go back to the top of the order if he is able to get aboard. Van Camp from the stretch. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That one is over at the knees, and now 3-2, and Christoffels will get a head start with a 3-2 count and 2 outs. Although we have just restarted this ball game, already have a 3-2, two outs with a count. 3-2 pitch. That one misses low, and it's a 2-out walk. And that'll bring up Grant Graber, the top of the order. He struck out looking in his first at bat to lead off the ball game. 2-1 is our score. Post State scored 2 in the bottom of the first. Sioux Falls East scored that run on a sac fly here in the top of the second. It was a leadoff error that allowed that man to reach base. The first pitch will hit Graber, and now the bases are loaded. That's the third free pass of the inning that Van Camp has allowed. And that tying run 90 feet away for Ty Schaefer, who got a base hit in his first at-bat in the top of the first inning. John Winkler alongside Greg Dean. And, you know, it's a struggle to reset yourself, and especially when you come back out on the mound. You're not even coming into the game. You're coming back out on the mound with a count after a rain delay. It's hard to get things going right away. The first pitch, swing and a miss to Schaefer.
Yeah, just a nice changeup from Van Camp there. And we talked about what he really needs to do to be successful is get that second and third pitch over for a strike. And that was a really good changeup, followed by a really good fastball right there. And
a swing and a miss by Schaefer as he's behind on that fastball. And the count is now quickly 0-2 with the bases loaded and 2 down here in the top of the second inning. Van Camp from the windup. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Schaefer. Over for strike 3, and Schaefer goes down on strikes the third time. A Sioux Falls East player struck out all 3 times, has been looking. 1 run on no hits, 1 error, and 3 men left on base. So we have played an inning and a half. Post State has a 2-1 lead over Sioux Falls East. You listen to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Hyde Stadium, as we are set here for the bottom of the second inning, John Winkler alongside Greg Dean. It will be 6, 7, and 8. Matt Lusk, McGuire Rasky, and A.J. Gaden. Lusk was left at the plate after Andy Gordon was picked off, but not before Andrew Coverdale came in to score to make it a 2-0 lead for Post State. And they now have a 2-1 lead over Sioux Falls East. This is the first of 3 games here at Hyde Stadium tonight, and we've had a 17-minute lightning delay, so not too long of a delay, but that will still back things up a little bit here for 3 games to be played starting at 4 o'clock here this afternoon. First pitch is to the backstop for ball 1 to Matt Lusk.
Yeah, and again, if you're if you're Taylor Frederickson for Sioux Falls East, you're facing the same challenge that Jack Van Camp had coming out of that long delay. I mean, it's very similar to being in the dugout during a really long offensive inning with your teammates, and so you just got to come out and try to reestablish your fastball and see if you can and really try to find that strike zone again.
The 1-1 pitch is at the knees, or the 2-0 pitch is at the knees. Now 2-1 to the center fielder Matt Lusk. Went 1 for 4 in that ball game against Sioux Falls East. There's a ground ball to the left side. It'll be fielded by the shortstop Heiner. The throw to first, and the leadoff man is retired. Here to open up the bottom of the second inning. Good little rain fell on here at Hyde Stadium. Nothing that was any cause of concern, but really got an extra a little bit of a soak there from what had been the sprinklers before the game. It was almost like the sprinklers were able to turn back on and have a little, maybe it stayed on for maybe a couple extra minutes to really soften that ground to make it look as good as what it does right now. First pitch to McGuire Rasky is over for strike one. Rasky, again, he did not play against Sioux Falls East. This is only the second time he's been in the lineup since he has been injured with that elbow. The ground ball to the right side, fielded by the second baseman Graber. He had a clutch as he threw it over to Christoffels to make sure he was looking. But over at second base, he got plenty of time. And there's two quickly down here in the bottom of the second. And now bringing A.J. Gaden.
Gaden up to the plate, brings a .378 batting average into today's game. 17 hits, 45 at bats. He's got 7 RBIs, a pair of doubles, and 13 runs scored on the year.
First pitch missed upstairs to Gaden. The 1-0, that one's grounded a foul and to the backstop near the third base dugout over for Sioux Falls East. The Minot Vistas will be in town here later, and they're probably rolling into town. Actually, they are here in town. They're over by the batting cage out behind right field. The 1-1 is over at the knees and at the outside corner now, 1-2. Minot and Sioux Falls East will play next, and then it will be Pierre and Minot to finish out the night. 1-2 pitch to Gaden. That one will bounce into the plate now, 2-2. Gaden did not play. It was one of the few days that he's had off against a South Dakota team, or games, I should say, he had off against the South Dakota team, as he didn't play in that win against Sioux Falls East. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Gaden will chop it foul, stays just barely alive here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. Guy that had worked his way in the lineup has hit so well, you will find a way to put him in the lineup, whether he's playing right field. He's played third base. The 2-2 is over and just misses. Now 3-2. I believe he's been out in left field as well. He's hit the ball so well that you'll find a spot for him defensively to play at wherever position he might be. 3-2 is fought off and fouled it to the first base dugout, and it will remain at 3-2.
Yeah, he really kind of established himself and kind of found that spot when we were up in Minot for the weekend and just really had a good weekend up there.
3-2 pitch, swung on and missed, and now that will retire the side in order. As we have played 2 complete, Pierre leads Sioux Falls East 2-1. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Top of the third inning, as it will be 3, 4, and 5 here for Sioux Falls East. It'll be Tyler Boyum, Nate Sprinkle, and Jaron Heinertz to lead things off. 7 guys came to play in the top of the second, part of a long inning with had a 17-minute lightning delay with it. And Sioux Falls East had just 1 run without actually having a hit in the inning. There was 1 error and 3 men were left on base. in that top of the second. The 0-1 pitch is right back up the middle, just missing Jack Van Camp, and it goes into center field for a leadoff single. And Boyum's now 1 for 2. I'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Nate Sprinkle, who is part of those 3 strikeout victims so far, and all 3 of them have gone down looking to Jack Van Camp through the first 2 innings.
Yeah, just a blistering ground ball back up the middle, and Van Camp was able to get out of the way, but it took had to do a little dance to do so as the ball came right back up the box and on its way out in center field.
First pitch, Sprinkle will try and bunt it. He will bunt it up in the air. Van Camp will track it down with the glove. He'll throw to second. They're going to get the man at second because it was up in the air, so Boyum could not take off right away, thinking that ball might had an opportunity to be caught, so he took off late, and Van Camp wisely threw it over to second. Stout got back over there to cover the bag, and they get the man out at second, so the sacrifice is all for naught. He goes for a fielder's choice.
Yeah, that was a real heads-up play by Van Camp to understand that he actually had a shot at getting the lead runner at second base, and
that one's right back up the middle and knocks Van Camp down. Misses him, but it's now first and second with 2 singles here in the inning that have both been right back to Van Camp. And that'll bring in Aiden Beck, who was hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance.
Yeah, those are the kind of balls that kind of make you swallow real hard because that ball is coming back at you in about 85 miles an hour. You throw it 85 and it comes back at the same speed. First
pitch is a swing and a miss by Beck, and it's 0-1. He did not play against Post State a couple weeks ago over in Brandon. Was hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance. The 0-1 pitch. That one will bounce in the dirt, and a good block by Hinkle. And it's now 1-1. Runners at first and second with 1 down here in the top of the third. 2-1 is our score. Post State leads. Or Post 15, Sioux Falls East. The 1-1 pitch. That one's fouled back to the screen, and it's now 1-2.
Sioux Falls East comes into this game 11-13 on the year. The most recent, they fell in a pair of games and a triangular on the Thursday before the 4th. Lost 4-3 to Brookings and lost 3-1 to Watertown.
A swing and a miss by Aiden Beck, and there's the first swinging strikeout for Van Camp, his 4th overall in the ball game, and there's now 2 down here in the top of the third inning. As Van Camp from the stretch, the first pitch to the first baseman, Brady Christoffels, is over for strike 1. He grounded into a fielder's choice, which was almost a magnificent double play from Coverdale and Stout at second and short. The 0-1 just above the letters, now 1-1 to the first baseman. That happened about a half an hour ago, but it's only been the top of the second. And we say that because it's still a 2-1 game because we had that lightning delay. The 1-1 pitch, now 2-1. And that misses upstairs.
And again, just you're trying to reestablish yourself, get back in the rhythm, get maybe work up a little bit of a sweat out there, and just kind of get in the flow of the game. And sometimes that's easier said than done.
2-1's a swing and a miss, and it's now 2-2. And Van Camp's a strike away from putting up his second 0 of 3 innings on the board. With runners at first and second. 2 down, 2 on. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Christoffels waved at it and was nowhere close to touching it. Van Camp will get his second strikeout of the inning, 5th of the ball game. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We head to the bottom of the third inning. Post State has a 2-1 lead. Listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. 9-1-2 here for Post State in the bottom of the third inning. As Frederickson with just 22 pitches through 2 innings. We're back on the mound. He works efficiently as Greg Dean joins me here in the press box. I'm John Winkler. He had an efficient last outing against Harrisburg on Monday, last Monday. The first pitch to Hinkle misses over for ball 1.
Yeah, Frederickson beat a really good Harrisburg team 4-1 last Monday through a 7-inning complete game. Only used 79 pitches to get through 7 innings. 2 hits, 1 run. That was earned. No walks, 5 strikeouts.
The 1-0 is over at the letters, now 1-1. He was kind of close to only having 3 days rest after throwing a complete game shutout. Mm-hmm. That's usually if you go a complete game, there's no question that you're going to be having to have those 4 days, and obviously he got to that point, but he was a lot closer to being a 3-day rest than what you're usually seeing at the, I guess I should say is it's now 2-2. He was closer to having 3 days rest than actually being taken out of the game for having too many pitches thrown.
Yeah, and what we've seen out of Frederickson so far is that he changes speeds well. He moves the ball around the zone and has a pretty good fastball.
2-2 pitch. That one misses outside, now 3-2. No walks issued yet from Frederickson. This is the I believe maybe the second full count we've seen from Frederickson to a pure hitter. The 3-2 to Hinkle. That one misses upstairs, and it's a leadoff walk. And that'll bring up Garrett Stout, who flew out to the right fielder to open up the bottom of the first inning.
And if you're, especially at this level, if you don't beat yourself, if you don't give up a lot of free passes, if you don't walk a lot of hitters or hit a lot of batters, you really put yourself in a position where you have a lot more of an opportunity for success.
There's a ground ball to the second baseman that was fielded through. A short was in time. The throw to first was low, not scooped out by the first baseman, and Stout will take second. So it'll go down as a fielder's choice, but a throwing error will be charged to the shortstop as Stout takes the extra base. And there's one on at second with one down for Lincoln Keenels.
Yeah, just kind of a tailor-made double play. It was a hard-hit ground ball right at Graber at second base and fielded the ball cleanly, made a nice turn over to the shortstop. And unfortunately for Sioux Falls East, the throw just skipped in the dirt and over Christoffel's glove at first, and Stout was able to garner second base on the overthrow.
And if Stout doesn't take second, it doesn't go down as an error for the shortstop and Heinert, but because he was able to take that extra bag, it turns into a fielder's choice and an error for Stout on that at-bat, as it's 1-0 to Lincoln Keenels as that bounces in. Keenels got a base hit in his first at-bat. He came around to score the game's first run. The 1-0 is over for strike one. The back pick to second, and Stout was able to get back diving in. And it's now 1-1. That was a little bit a close play over at second. You don't see that very often especially in high school, where you see a really close play at second on a back pick.
Boyum's got a good arm there behind the plate, and he's kind of like Cade Hinkle for Post State. He's not afraid to show that arm off, and if you stray too far off a bag, he'll do what he can to keep you close. And Stout was getting a pretty aggressive secondary lead down at second base, and Boyum said, "Yeah, that's a little too far."
1-2 pitch to Keenels. There's a line shot in the left field. That's down for a base hit, and Stout will come around to score. Keenels takes a hard turn at first. He's going to try and dig for a second. He's going to get up there standing up. It's a one-out RBI double for Lincoln Keenels. It is now a 3-1 lead for Post State, as he's now 2 for 2. His Lincoln Keenels, and that'll bring up Andrew Coverdale, who has an RBI as he drove in Lincoln Keenels on a base hit back in the bottom of the first inning. 3-1 is their score. Now 4 hits in the ball game for Post State. Keenels at second. Here's the first pitch to Coverdale. Over for ball 1 as that one missed low and away.
And again, Coverdale coming in hitting 386 on the year, among the team leaders in a variety of offensive categories.
On the backhand play from Heinert, he didn't feel it cleanly, and Coverdale will beat out the throw to first. And that one's going to be pretty close to being a hit for Coverdale, because that one was a tough play for Heinert to make cleanly. And just any kind of a misstep there was going to be Coverdale at first. They are going to give the shortstop Heinert an error, and it's now first and second with the one down here, bottom of the third. First pitch to Andy Gordon. It misses upstairs for ball 1.
Second error of the inning for Heinert over at shortstop. And again, those are the kinds of plays that are tough to make, but you really kind of expect your shortstop, especially at this level, to make those kind of plays.
Count is now 2-0 to Gordon. He also singled in the first inning. He was picked off between first and second. He was able to get long enough into a pickle to allow Coverdale to score to that game's second run before he was tagged out. And Post State has a 3-1 lead, looking to add to it. The 2-0 pitch. Gordon right down the third base line, but it's foul. That could have scored both. It would have scored definitely Keenels, and that could have very well scored Coverdale from first. But the count is now 2-1.
Have a bit of break in the action as that ball made its way all the way down into the corner and bounced back into the field of play. So it'll wait till the Sioux Falls East bench player gets his sprint work in as he retrieves the ball and heads back to the Sioux Falls East dugout.
You hope that's a pitcher that's doing that running out there. 2-1 pitch is a curveball that will drop into the zone, and now 2-2. I'm telling Coach I don't got to do my pulls anymore. took the sprint out to the left field. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Gordon, ground ball through the left side. That one will get through for a base hit. Keenels, he's going to come around to score either way, as he was interfered with by the runner at third, or by the third baseman. And it's now a 4-1 lead as an RBI single for Andy Gordon. And the third baseman and Schaefer did not get out of Keenels' way, and if Keenels would have tripped and fell, he still would have scored no matter what.
Yeah, and that's an obstruction rule there, and as soon as Keenholz actually had to push Schaefer out of the way in order to make contact with third base.
As Iverson will ground it to the left side, fielded by Hunter at second. The throw to first is going to be a safe. Coverdale's going to try and score. The throw, the plate is in time, and they're still going to get a double play out of it. But Post State will score 2 runs in the inning. So it's a different type of double play that is made as Iverson will reach on the fielder's choice. It's a 6-4-3-2 double play to end the inning. As we have 2-run score on just 2 hits in the inning, 2 errors in the inning, and 1 man left on base. We head to the bottom of the third, top of the fourth. That was the bottom of the third. 4-1 lead here for Post State over Sioux Falls East. You listen to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Top of the fourth inning, 4-1. Post State leads over Sioux Falls East. John Wather alongside Greg Dean. It is 8-9-1. Jaden Federal, Trey Runge, and Grant Graber. First pitch to Federal is over for strike one. He flew out to the left fielder Iverson on a sac fly RBI in his first plate appearance. Drove in that only run so far for Sioux Falls East. It's unearned to Jack Van Camp. It's now 0-2 to the left fielder Federal.
Yeah, and you can just look at how Jack Van Camp is carrying himself out on the mound in this inning. You can just see he's kind of dialed back in. Looks like he's found that confidence level and just has reestablished that feel for the strike zone.
And the 0-2 pitch is a swing and a miss, a 3-pitch strikeout to Federal. The third straight strikeout for Van Camp, dating back to that second out in the top of the third inning. First pitch is a foul ball off the bat of Runge as he was not really wanting to swing at it, but got a piece of it anyway. And it's 0-1. Runge walked in his first plate appearance. He was stranded at second back in the top of the second inning. The 0-1 is outside now, 1-1. Van Camp with 6 strikeouts now in the ball game. The first 3 were all looking. The last 3 have been all swinging. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one just misses on the outside edge. Is now 2-1.
Yeah, that one looked really close. And again, it looks like Van Camp is really dialed in that fastball. And like we said earlier, I mean, he's going to sit in the mid 80s with that fastball, which is certainly an above average fastball at this Legion level.
3-1's the count to Runge. Here's the pitch. That one will be over the inside portion of the plate now, 3-2. And Van Camp trying to avoid a one-out walk from the windup. The left-hander deals the payoff pitch. That one's out towards left field. It's going to be down for at least a base hit. Iverson will try and cut it off. He will miss it. It will roll all the way to the wall. So it'll be at least a one-out double as it rounding second. And stopping at second will be Runge for the third hit in the ball game now the fourth hit in the ball game now for Sioux Falls East.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that River Iverson saw that ball off the bat. He got kind of a late jump on the ball, and the ball had a lot of topspin and was able, unfortunately for Post 8, to skid past him and get all the way to the wall. And so Runge was actually able. He probably would have had a double either way, but right now Sioux Falls East has a mini threat going. Matt on second, one out.
First pitch to Graber is either a swing and a miss or a called strike, but Graber. That bat went through the zone and was trying to hold it up as it was going all the way through the zone. The count is 0-1. From the stretch, here's the 0-1 pitch. The runner started to move towards third, did not end up going, and the pitch was in the dirt, blocked up by Hinkle, and a good block. But if it was Runge going off of the pitch, he would have easily been standing up on third base. But he still remains at second. One down, 1-1 count to the leadoff hitter in the order, Graber. That's now 2-1. That misses upstairs to the second baseman. He is 0 for 1. He was struck out looking and was hit by a pitch in his first two plate appearances. Keenels protects the line over at third. Big hole between short and third base. Van Camp will come set. Here's the 2-1. That will miss low. Now 3-1. And on deck is Ty Schaefer, who has won the 4 Sioux Falls East hits. Weather has moved out of the area and hopefully will stay out of the area for the rest of the night. The 3-1 is over and it's now 3-2. As we have that slight risk of some severe weather throughout the evening. But we're seeing some of it kind of trying to form just north of here. The 3-2 will go in the dirt, and it's a one-out walk. And it's now first and second. Second time he's been on a board with a free pass.
Van Camp at 66 pitches, actually 68 pitches now through 3 1/3. So hopefully he can get out of this inning unscathed and work that pitch count down and hopefully be able to go deep into this game for Post 8.
First pitch to Ty Schaefer bounces in for ball one. Gets stopped there again by Hinkle. Schaefer is 1 for 2. He singled in the first and struck out looking to end the top of the second inning. Sun peeking out here at Hyde Stadium. The 1-0 pitch, that one's popped foul and out of play. And it's now 1-1. And to the north, it's raining to our north, but that should stay away from us here at Hyde and not cause any concern for us to have another delay. The 1-1 pitch, that one's at the letters now, 1-2.
Looks like Van Camp's got an ability to spot that changeup today, and if you can have that second and third pitch working, he's going to be real effective.
Grounded down the third base line and foul, so we'll do it again at 1-2.
And has been real effective so far, as we said, 3 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 unearned run, a pair of walks, and 6 strikeouts so far for Van Camp.
And he's trying to make this a routine of going the distance every time he gets on the mound, as he has done it, I believe, now the last 3 starts. He's gone, granted, the last start he only went those 6 innings because they ended up losing in the top of the 7th, but he has gone all 7 or 6 innings, whatever he has recorded the last out that Post 8 has had on the field, the first and last out on the field. So he's trying to continue that trend. And that, for Coach White, for Post 8, that's a huge benefit. All the runners are off. The throw to third. Keenels will put the tag down, and they did not get the tag. John Crookstrand, the field umpire, calls him safe at third, as he's saying he missed the tag. as Coach White will go out and talk with the field umpire and John Krogstrand. And we'll see if maybe ask for some help at home plate or what Krogstrand saw over there. That's a tough call. You know, we when we were in Minot, we had 3 umpires. With that guy at third, the umpire would be at third base, and it's a much easier call to see if that tag was put on or not. But now with only 2 umpires, and he can't get over to third base in time, that's a far way to try and make that call. And the no appeal is going to be had over at home plate. So now it's first and third with 1 down, and the count is 2-2.
Yeah, Krogstrand was pretty adamant in his call. I mean, he was pretty emphatic in the fact that he was pretty confident in what he saw. So I'm not surprised that the appeal did not go through. And now, unfortunately, the ball was there in plenty of time. It was just a matter of the base runner getting around the tag.
So here's the 2-2 pitch. That one's outside now, 3-2. On deck is the number 3 hitter, Tyler Boyum, who's 1 for 2. Runners are in the corners here with 1 down here in the top of the 4th inning. Post State has a 3-run lead of 4-1. 3-2 pitch. That was chopped right at the plate. Van Camp does not feel it cleanly on his glove, and the bases will now be loaded. I don't know if he would end up getting Schaefer out at first either way. And it'll be now bases loaded with 1 out.
Almost a swinging bunt. I mean, just well-placed chopper just right down the line and really kind of into no man's land where neither Van Camp nor Keenholz coming in from third base really had much of an opportunity to make a play on that ball.
First pitch to Boyum is just missed for ball 1, and they are going to give a base hit to Schaefer, and I wholeheartedly agree with that because even if Van Camp gets it into his glove, I don't think there's any way he turns and makes that play. Now 2-0 is the count to Boyum, and Van Camp's got to bear down. No empty bases here with 1 out in the top of the 4th inning. Van Camp from the windup. Here comes the 2-0 pitch to the catcher, Tyler Boyum. That one's over for strike 1.
It seems like Van Camp's probably a little more comfortable going out of the windup than the stretch. I just have kind of noticed that he's just seems a little more confident coming out of that full windup. And now we've got a timeout and Graber, the base runner at second base, is going to come out of the ball game. He must have injured something at some point during this half inning.
And he was really gingerly walking over to talk with the third base coach in Storo, as now is I believe number 22 Chase Johnson that will at least run for Graber here with 1 down and the bases are loaded. We'll see if he stays in the game. But Johnson will be the runner as the 2-1 is just outside now, 3-1. And Van Camp has got to find a way to hit the strikes here. The walk will drive in that second run of the game. The 3-1 pitch from Van Camp. Swing and a miss. Now 3-2. And Boyum now will have to protect the plate. Walk is as good as a hit here in this situation for Boyum. Van Camp wants at least a ground ball. 3-2 pitch. That one's out towards right field. Is it going to stay in fair territory? It does go foul. And it'll remain at 3-2. Just barely foul. And this one stays at a full count.
A.J. Gayden giving chase over in that right field corner, and luckily for Post State, that thing was fouled by about 3 feet.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. One more time. Just outside. And that will draw in a run. It's now a 4-2 lead here with 1 down in the top of the 4th inning. And Peyton Zabel will make his way out to try and calm down Jack Van Camp, who is a little upset with those last couple calls not going his way. And from up here, I think he has a right to be a little upset with how those calls didn't go his way.
Yeah, those were close borderline calls, and what we've seen of Van Camp the last couple of times out is that if he has an umpire who calls that outside corner, being a left-hander, he really is able to work that outside outside part of the plate to a right-handed hitter, and that's where he's really been able to have his command over the last couple of starts.
First pitch to Nate Sprinkle is a swing and a miss, 0-1. Sprinkle is 0 for 2. He struck out looking in his first at bat and grounded into a fielder's choice. Bases are loaded here with one down. 4-2 is their score. From the windup, now swing and a miss, and it's 0-2 to Sprinkle.
I think pitching coach Peyton Sable just came out and said, okay, just rear back and show him your fastball and see if he can hit it. Just be the better one right here, and really just threw those first two fastballs right by Sprinkle.
And the 0-2 pitch just misses below the knees to Sprinkle, and it's now 1-2 to the cleanup hitter, center fielder Nate Sprinkle. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's chopped and barely staying alive as Sprinkle. I don't think he really wanted to swing at it, but he got a piece of it to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, he just fought that off. That would look like an off-speed pitch of some. Knew he had to stay alive in the at-bat.
1-2 pitch is floated into left field for a base hit. One run will score. The second run trying to score. The throw of the plate goes off the glove of Keenholz, and 2 runs will score, and the game is tied at 4-4 here with one down in the top of the 4th inning. 2 RBI single for Nate Sprinkle on a 2-strike pitch. And that was a protection swing that went right over the head of Garrett Stout into left field.
Yeah, I just fought off a 1-2 pitch and just went the other way with it, and was able to hit a soft line drive over Stout's head into. And with that, looks like we've got some work. I think that's Bennett Dean down in the bullpen getting warm right now.
First pitch is over for strike 1 to Jaron Heiner. Coach White had got to the track on the foul territory in front of the first base dugout to tell the right field bullpen to work a little quicker, to get loose a lot quicker, because he can't go out and talk to Van Camp anymore because you'll have to take him out of the ball game, as the count is 1-1 here to the shortstop Heiner. Van Camp from the stretch. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one misses upstairs, now 2-1.
Van Camp up at this will be his 90th pitch of the day, this next one coming.
Count is at 2-1, first and second with one down. The 2-1 pitch, swing and a foul, and is now 2-2. So the number 5 hitter and Jaron Heinertz, Aiden Beck is on deck, trying to fight his way through this inning as Van Camp to complete at least 4. Here's from the stretch, the 2-2 pitch. There's a ground ball to the left side. Stout will field, flips to second for 1, over to first, not in time, but it is the lead runner. It wasn't the lead runner, but got the runner at second, and now the runner's at the corners with 2 down here in the top of the 4th.
Just a slowly hit ground ball out to Stout at shortstop. He actually had to come in a couple of steps to make the play, and just wasn't able to make the turn at second quick enough, along with the relay to allow the double play to be completed. And so Sioux Falls East still has this rally going with runners at the corners and 2 out now in this tie ball game at 4.
And then steps Aiden Beck, who is 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch and then struck out. That was in the top of the 3rd inning. 8th man to come to the plate here in the top of the 4th. 3 runs have scored here in the 4th inning for Sioux Falls East. That runner is going to be standing right in between. And now they throw it to third. The throw home is going to stop on Hinkle, and he dropped the ball. And I don't know if the runner did he tag the base or not.
I think he did. I think he slid around Hinkle's tag, and I think that was going to be a cause for a conversation between Matt Storrow, the Sioux Falls East head coach, and the home plate umpire. But then I don't think Hinkle was able to hang on to the ball, and because of that, Schaefer was able to end up tagging home plate and score the 5th run of the day for Sioux Falls East.
First pitch is upstairs to Aiden Beck. It's now 5-4 for Sioux Falls East. They've scored 4 runs here in the top of the 4th inning. 1-0 pitch, chopped at the plate. Van Camp will field, and he will take it himself to the bag at first and retire the side, and that will end the top of the 4th inning. 4-run score on 3 hits in the inning. No errors are charged to Post State, and 1 man left on base. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning, and Post State now trailing Sioux Falls East 5-4. You listen to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Matt Lusk will lead things off at 6, 7, and 8 here for Post State as they trail now 5-4 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Matt Lusk, McGuire Rasky, and A.J. Gaden. Those 3 went down in order back in the 2nd. And after a 4-1 lead after 3 innings has quickly vanished and trying to tie this ball game right back up as Frederickson's looking for a huge shutdown inning to keep his team on top. The first pitch is grounded to the third baseman. 1 hop to Schaefer, and 1 pitch and 1 out to lead off the 4th. And that'll bring up McGuire Raskew's 0 for 1.
And that's kind of the tale of Frederickson's day so far. We talked about how efficient he was in his last outing last Monday, where he threw 79 pitches over 7 innings. So far, he is at 42 pitches through 3 1/3.
First pitch to Rasky is over for strike 1. Rasky grounded out to the second baseman Graber in his first at bat. The 0-1 pitch, that one's grounded again to the right side, but fielded by Frederickson. He'll flip it to first, and there's 2 quickly gone in 3 pitches here in the bottom of the 4th inning, and that'll bring up A.J. Gaden. I think Frederickson's got a little bit more pep in his step after getting some offensive help, having 5 runs now on the scoreboard for him. First pitch to A.J. Gaden. That one's over for strike 1. That one just clipped it right around the knees. The 0-1 pitch. That one's outside, 1-1. That one just a bit outside. Almost looked a little bit better than the first strike, but count is even either way, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Gaden. That one's flown out to center field. Coming in on it into shallow into right center field will be Sprinkle. It'll make the catch, and that will retire the side. Quick inning for Frederickson in the bottom of the 4th. No runs, no hits, and no errors, and no one left on base. After 4 full, it is a 5-4 lead here for Sioux Falls East. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Hyde Stadium into the top of the 5th inning. 5-4 lead for Sioux Falls East, and Bennett Dean will take the mound here for Pierre, trying to keep it a 5-4 score and allow his team a chance to tie the ball game back up in the bottom half of the inning. And Bennett Dean is a guy that has started well and has come into the that has come into ball games and has pitched well as of late here for Post State, and really been a guy that's kind of been a surprise for Pierre on the mound, at least this season.
Yeah, Dean comes in with 23 innings pitched in 5 games. He's got a 2-2 overall record, 2 wins, 2 losses, 4.26 ERA. He's allowed 18 runs, 14 of them earned, 16 walks, 17 strikeouts in those 23 innings.
First pitch was a grounded foul by Christoffels as he leads things off here in the top of the 5th inning. The 0-1 misses low, now 1-1. He went nearly the distance on last week Wednesday against Fargo. He ended up taking the loss, although he was relieved of the ball game, and A.J. Gaden came in. Now 2-1 is the count. Dean had 6 shutout innings over Fargo. They end up losing 2-1, end up being no hit in that loss. 2-1 is out towards center field, and over is Matt Lusk will make the catch, and the leadoff man is retired. Here to open up the top of the 5th inning, that'll bring in Jaden Federal.
We can close the book on Jack Van Camp for the day. 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts to go with those 93 pitches, 54 of them for strikes on the day.
And here is left fielder Jaden Federal, who is 0 for 1. He had a sac fly RBI and also struck out. First pitch from Dean to Federal. That was a swing and a miss, a pitch in the dirt. He actually got a piece of it after it popped out of Hinkle's glove. And it's 0-1, not 0-2. He don't get a chance for a strike and a foul ball on that pitch. But Dean had a chance to be a winning pitcher while his team was no hit last Wednesday, as the 0-1 is at the letters and it's now 0-2, which does not happen very often, where you're sitting in an opportunity to be a winning pitcher while your team is not getting any base hits. The 0-2 pitch, that's upstairs, 1-2.
Yeah, with the while you're on that line of thinking, you actually with the new tiebreaker rule in the major leagues this year, where they start extra innings with a runner on second base. Jason Stark, the ESPN writer, actually noted, and it's true, you could actually lose a perfect game. I mean, you could pitch 9 innings of perfect baseball, start the 10th with a runner on second, and he could score with via ground out and a sac fly or some other kind of format and actually lose a perfect game.
And actually, yeah, because it doesn't go. You don't get an earned run charge, so you don't get a hit, you don't get a walk, there's no area. He's just there on second, and yeah, that's as the 2-2 misses upstairs, now 3-2. That will be, obviously, that is a very far. It would be interesting if that ever happens, even if they continue with these rules. With that, the 3-2 is golfed into center field, and Matt Lusk will backpedal and make the catch, and there's 2 down. Now here at the top of the 5th inning, that'll bring in Trey Runge, who's been on base twice. That if they continue from here on to the rest of time with that rule being as soon as the 10th inning hits that you have a runner at second base, we may never see that ever. But there's still that possibility, as the phrase goes in Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance. The first pitch is outside for ball 1 to Trey Runge.
Yeah, and again, the likelihood of it happening is pretty remote, but it does sit out there. I mean, and the fact that you potentially could lose a perfect game. I think there have been instances where pitchers have lost no hitters before. We have seen that happen, but I don't think it's been possible to lose a perfect game.
Count is, I believe, 2-1 here to Trey Runge, as he is the number 9 hitter. He is 1 for 1. He walked and doubled. That one's fouled back and out of play, and it's now 2-2. Here to the number 9 hitter, and Bennett Dean looking for a 1-2-3 inning here in the top of the 5th. And match what happened in the bottom of the 4th from Ethan Frederickson. Here's the 2-2. Curveball misses outside, now 3-2. A full count here to the number 9 hitter. 5-4, Sioux Falls leads here in the top of the 5th inning. A 4-run 4th has given them that 5-4 lead. Dean from the windup. Here is the 3-2 pitch. That one misses, and it will be a 2-out walk. And the 3rd time that Runge has been on base, and there will be no 1-2-3 inning here for Dean here in the top of the 5th. They'll bring up Chase Johnson, who came in the game to run for Graber, who injured something in the as that one's popped up into shallow center field, and Garrett Stout will make the catch. We'll call it a lower body injury for Graber, go hockey style with that injury. But Stout makes the catch on the first pitch that Johnson sees, and that will retire the side here in the top of the fifth inning. No runs on no hits, no errors, and one man left on base. We head to the bottom of the fifth inning. 5-4. It is a Sioux Falls East lead over Post State. You're listening to Post State Baseball, and today is KCCR, and today is KCCR.com. Here back for the bottom of the fifth inning, it is 9-1-2 as it will be Cade Hinkle, Garrett Stout, and Lincoln Keenels face Ethan Frederickson, who remains efficient through those first fifth as Cade Hinkle waits on the first pitch and will take it for strike one. Hinkle drew a walk in his first plate appearance, is retired on a fielder's choice as he hits here for the second time. The 0-1 is popped up into center field. Barely having to move for it is Sprinkle, and the leadoff man is retired here to open up the bottom of the fifth.
And again, Frederickson in a two-pitch at bat, staying very efficient. Just right now at 49 pitches through 4 1/3, and really what you need to do as we get back to the top of the order, they really need to grind some at bats to Post State this time through the order.
Well, Garrett Stout will not grind through that bat, but he will be hit by a pitch, so he's on here with one down. In the bottom of the fifth inning, that'll bring up Lincoln Keenels, who is already 2 for 2. Double barrel action in the bullpen for Post State. Matt Lusk is warming up, as well as Elliott Life for the Eights. As Dean went through that first inning, we'll see if they're maybe wanting to kind of save him, although they do play Minot tomorrow, so trying to maybe save him to come back to pitch tomorrow, as we will have a mound visit coming up from Sioux Falls East after Frederickson threw the first pitch for a ball. And there is action in the left field bullpen, a left-hander getting loose, trying to look to see, might be Nick Lounsbury, number 1. Hey, I actually saw that out there. That's, the eyesight's somewhat there today for me.
Yeah, it's interesting that you've got a mound visit from Sioux Falls East right now. I'm not quite sure because Frederickson's really other than that where Pierre got 2 in the first and 2 in the third, he's really been actually cruising fairly easily through this first 4 innings. So you kind of wonder if maybe, especially with the activity down now, there's another arm going down for Sioux Falls East. Kind of wonder if maybe Frederickson might have felt something. I mean, because this is turning into an extended mound visit by the Sioux Falls coaching staff.
Yeah, as you look at Frederickson's numbers right now, trying to see, he's only thrown 51 pitches. So interesting that here with that long visit on the mound, and Frederickson will stay on the mound, but having now 2 people warming up here for not necessarily too much right now. One's on the mound, the other is on the opposite side of where home plate is, still throwing. That's an odd way to see a couple of guys throwing outside near the left field bullpen. 1-0 pitch is over for strike 1 to Lincoln Keenels, and the count is even at a ball and a strike.
Now, Lounsbury is on the mound. I mean, he would be the guy coming in out of the bullpen. I think the other guy is probably just a defensive replacement, just trying to get his arm warm. So we'll see what Sioux Falls East does with because they likely have a defensive defensive substitution coming if they have to make a move out of the bullpen.
The 1-2 pitch coming to Keenels from Frederickson. On the stretch, Keenels was trying to call time, did not get the time. Granted, it was taken for ball 2, and Stout will steal second on the pitch in the dirt. And the count is even at 2-2, so it worked out well for Keenels not being able to get granted time right before that pitch came across.
Yeah, and Stout got kind of a late jump on that pitch, and the pitch was actually out in the right-handed batter's box, and Boyum had to kind of reach for and actually made that throw from his knees, and actually got a strong throw off, and it was within a half a step of
Keenels
getting Stout.
Will drive this in the right center field gap. He's now 3 for 3 as Stout will come around to score. And the soon-to-be sophomore has tied the ball game up at 5-5 here in the bottom of the 5th on his 3rd hit, 2nd RBI of the ball game as well for Keenels.
Yeah, and just was able to stay with a pitch and able to drive the ball, and Keenholz was able to add to his hit total today. He's having probably his best day as a varsity player right now.
And that'll bring in Andrew Coverdale with Keenholz, again, already in scoring position. And we will have a pitching change. Frederickson's going to be done as Storos making his way out to the mound, and we will have Lounsbury come into the ball game. The left-hander will come in. We'll tell you what other changes there might be as we are tied at 5 here in the bottom of the 5th. You're listening to Post-State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning, Nick Lounsbury will come on to pitch. Frederickson will leave with under 60 pitches here in the bottom of the 5th inning as Greg has almost his full totals here through 4 and a third inning.
Yeah, and we were just talking off air. It's just kind of an odd move that because Frederickson really had pretty good command of the strike zone. Like we said, he didn't look like he was hurting. The book on Frederickson now will close at 4 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, 59 pitches. So he is able to come back in and be able to pitch again Friday. So they must be thinking about trying to get him back in ready for the weekend tournament down in Renner.
As it is going to be the first man to greet him, Andrew Coverdale. Lincoln Keenels is on at second, so one more run could score and be charged to Frederickson with 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th. Lounsbury, the left-hander, will deal the first pitch, and that's over for strike 1. Just getting the bottom edge of that zone, and it's 0-1 to Coverdale, who is 1 for 2. He's reached base twice. He singled home Keenels in the first inning, reached on air, and he'll fly that out towards left field, going back onto the left fielder, and Federal still going back. He'll not be able to make the catch. Keenels will round third. He's being waved around to score. The throw coming in, and it scoops away from the shortstop and Heinert. And Keenels will come in to score, and Post State has reclaimed the lead 6-5, just like that, here at the bottom of the 5th inning.
Lounsbury on here in relief of Frederickson. He last pitched on Wednesday for Sioux Falls East, went 7 innings against Mitchell, threw a 4-hit complete game shutout, walked 2, struck out 6.
They will get charge and air to the left fielder in Federal. And the Post State team has the lead back 6-5. Gordon swings and misses the first pitch, 0-1. Coverdale leads away from second. Lounsbury, the left-hander, will deal. Gordon started to swing and had to check his swing, but also avoid that curveball coming in on his feet. and the count is now 1-1. So an odd-looking way to dodge out of that pitch, but it evens the count at 1. Lounsbury from the stretch. Here's the 1-1 to the first baseman, Gordon. Popped up on the right side, going into shallow right field. The second baseman will go after it. He can't make the catch. That one will fall. Coverdale will get to third, and Gordon is on base for the third time, and that should be a base hit for him and a 3-for-3 performance for Andy Gordon. He and Keenels have 6 hits combined, and they're 3 at-bats each. And they'll bring up River Iverson.
6 of the 8 for Post 8 today go to the 2 and 4 hitters in the lineup.
Iverson is 0 for 2. He'll look to bunt. Had the safety squeeze on. Coverdale was taken off for home. And if it was a suicide squeeze, Coverdale did a great job to get back to third because Iverson was supposed to try and bunt that no matter what, but he did pull it back for ball 1. Lounsbury will come set here. They're going to try to bunt it again, and that one he fouled back, so it's now 1-1. And Iverson really trying to push that over to the right side, almost jabbed at it instead of letting it come to the bats.
Yeah, and the third baseman Schaefer is really coming hard as soon as Iverson squares, and he squares again here at 1-1.
They'll pull back. The runner's off for a second, and Gordon, the throw, will be tagged out. Coverdale will come in to score, so another time that Gordon is thrown out in between bases, but Coverdale will score for the second time, and it's now a 7-5 lead here with 2 down in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And the bases are clear, and Post 8 now takes a 2-run lead. That's a big run for Post 8 right there.
Yeah, that's a one that, Gordon, as soon as he was picked off and knowing that there's only 1 out, didn't have to get himself into a pickle. And as that throw went to second, Coverdale wasted no time, no hesitation, and came in to score as it counts now 2-1 to Iverson. That one will just miss Iverson. Now 3-1. Don't say that very often. Usually when that pitch comes inside, it ends up hitting him. And the count is now 3-1. To the left fielder, River Iverson, trying to get on base for the second time here in the ball game. Here in the bottom of the 5th, 7-5 lead for Post 8. 3-1. Misses outside, and it's a 2-out walk. And the 5th straight man to reach base here for Post 8, although he is now, even though the bases were cleared with that 2-out walk. And that'll bring in Matt Lusk, who's 0 for 2.
Iverson, we talked about Iverson, the team leader in being hit by pitches with 5. Just added to his walk total. That's his 7th walk on the year.
First pitch is outside to Matt Lusk, who's been a ground ball victim twice, both on the left side of the infield, once to the shortstop and once to the third baseman. Sun peeking out here at Hyde Stadium. And we're closing in on the 6 o'clock hour here on this Monday evening. Iverson off of the pitch. The pitch was in the dirt. The throw to second, and he will just barely get in. Got that hand as he didn't get the slide that he wanted. Didn't truly slide all the way to the bag, but he was able to reach out that hand and just get a hold of it to be safe at second.
Yeah, he went in head first and actually started his dive a little too early, and luckily for Iverson, the throw was off on the left side of second base, on the shortstop side of second base, and because of that, the Sioux Falls East second baseman had to go over and actually lean, and because of that, Iverson was actually able to kind of get around the tag.
Count is now 2-1 here to Matt Lusk. Lounsbury will come set the 2-1 pitch. He'll foul that one, capped it off the top of the bat. And a lot of spin over to McGuire. Rasky will pick it up. Now count is 2-2.
Matt Lusk coming into the game hitting .314 on the year. 16 hits, 51 at bats. He's got 15 RBIs, 15 runs scored to go with 5 walks on the year. 2-2
pitch. He'll just get a piece of that one, and it stays alive at 2-2. I was going to make a comment to that last swing that Lusk had. Looked like my golf game. Although the ball sits there, and I still hit it like that. Just goes straight to the right. It doesn't even go anywhere. It's about 10 feet to the right, and that's it. Iverson's on at second. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Lounsbury to Lusk. He'll chop that one over to the third baseman. Charging is Schaefer. The throw to first gets away, and another run will score. Lusk will round first, hit Hutt for second. He will stop over at second base. And another error from Sioux Falls East, and Post State is taking advantage of it. And they put up a 4 spot of themselves here at the bottom of the 5th and now lead 8-5 with 2 down in the 5th inning.
Yeah, just a great response by Post 8 right now to come back and actually having lost the lead and being down 5-4 coming into the bottom of the fifth, are able to retaliate and come back with a 4 spot of their own.
First pitch to McGuire Rasky. He will foul that, and it goes off the bare hand of the catcher in Boyum. But he shakes it off pretty quick. Rasky's 0 for 2. He's grounded out to the second baseman twice. 4 errors in the ball game now for Sioux Falls East. 3 more than Post State. Post State has a 3-run lead. 0-1. Curveball is over, and now 0-2 here to Rasky. A.J. Gayden is on deck. Rasky is the 8th man to come to the plate here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Lounsbury comes set. Here's the 0-2. Rasky will poke it into shallow left field. Coming over, he can't make a diving catch to the left fielder. And there's an RBI single for McGuire Rasky, and it's now 9-5 for Post State.
Yeah, and just kind of a defensive swing from Rasky, and again that 2-out error, that 2-out throwing error, just really coming back to bite you, and at a time when you probably should have been out of the inning if you're Sioux Falls East. Now just a short ground ball to the third baseman, and then just kind of a blue pit out into left center field, and the Eights have another run on the board.
Line shot by Gayden right to the third baseman Schaefer, and he's able to stab that to retire the side, but not before 5-run score here in the inning on 3 hits for Post State, 2 errors, and 1 man left on base. We have played 5 complete. It's been a wild one here at Hyatt Stadium, and Post State has a 9-5 lead. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR, today's KCCR.com. Matt Lusk will enter the game here for Post State in the top of the 6th inning, as he will be, enter the game on the mound for Post State here in the top of the 6th inning. Bennett Dean with that 1 inning for the Eights and got a 0 on the scoreboard, and they have given him the lead, so he is now the pitcher of record for Post State, and Lusk will try to get the final 6 outs. Elliott Life will move into center field. He'll move into the lineup, and McGuire Rasky's spot, so the DH will be gone for the remaining. Matt Lusk has been that reliever for Post State. I think he's got a couple starts, but really he has been all about coming in. Coach White has been all about bringing him in the 6th and 7th inning to get the final 3 to 6 outs.
Yeah, 13 innings pitched on the year for Matt Lusk. This is his 6th appearance. He does have 1 start. He's got 1 win, no losses. He has 3 of the 4 saves for Post State so far this year. He's 3 for 3 in save attempts, 7 hits, 5 runs allowed, 4 earned, 6 walks, 12 strikeouts with a 2.15 ERA.
And this would be a save situation, even though it's a 4-run lead, but with 6 outs have to get. That would allow Matt Lusk to pick up another save. First pitch is over for strike 1 to Ty Schaefer. 2, 3, and 4 here for Sioux Falls East in the top of the 6th inning. Schaefer, Boyum, and Sprinkle. The 0-1 pitch. That one's over now. 0-2. And the pitch they throw back from Hinkle gets to the shortstop, Stout.
And you always like to see the heart of the order coming up in the 6th rather than the top of the 7th. I mean, you just give yourself a little wiggle room in case the better hitters in the Sioux Falls East order are able to put something on the board.
There's a line drive to right field. A.J. Gayden will move to his right and make the catch, and the leadoff man is retired. Here to open up the top of the 6th, and that'll bring up Tyler Boyum. I think Matt Lusk, he's got to really enjoy this spot that he gets put into. He really thrived in the high school season back in 2019. Got a couple more starts in the 2019 summer season, but here in 2020 is, again, really taking the reins as being the the closer for Post State here and has really shined in that spot. The 0-1, that one's lined in the right field again, and that'll be another catch there from the right fielder from A.J. Gain. There's too quickly down.
Yeah, and Lusk isn't going to overpower you with his fastball, but he's going to be right around the plate. He's got very good command. He's able to spot his pitches well, and really is able to do sort of kind of what Frederickson did through the first couple of innings for Sioux Falls East. Just be very efficient with his pitches and just keep the hitter off balance. And so far he's done a very nice job as he's able to just get through the first two batters in only 5 pitches.
Well, the 6th pitch will put the runner on base. Sprinkle will be hit by a pitch, and that'll bring up Jaron Heinert, the shortstop. He has reached base all 3 times, but he's 1 for 3. He reached on an air, singled, and reached on a fielder's choice. Big off attempt. Back in safely is Sprinkle. Minot and Sioux Falls East will play next, and then we will have the Pierre and Minot game back here on today's KCCR to finish out the night. The first pitch to the number 5 hitter in Heinert is missed low for ball 1.
Yeah, and just right now with 2 outs, even though there's a runner on first, you really are just looking to try to work the batter. The base runner, although you pay attention to him, really doesn't mean much right now for Post State.
The 1-0 pitch, that one is over for strike 1 at the knees, and it's now 1-1. So we'll let you know exactly here once we end this ball game. Obviously, we got to get through the bottom of the 6th and through the 7th inning before we tell you exactly what our plan might be and our estimation of when this second game for Post State might be played. There's a ground ball on the right side. Jumping over the ball was the runner at first, and the throw to first from Coverdale is in time to retire the side. So an efficient inning from Matt Lusk at the top of the 6th. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Post State has a 9-5 lead over Sioux Falls East. You listen to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the 6th inning, it is going to be Brady Christoffels that will now pitch for Sioux Falls East, trying to keep this a 9-5 ball game going to the top of the 7th. Andrew Evenson will enter the ball game to play first base. He's actually going to be leading off the 7th inning if they do allow him to hit, as he takes the place of the DH, Aiden Beck, as now Evenson is into the ball game. And it'll be 9-1-2 here for Post State. And Cade Hinkle, Garrett Stout, and Lincoln Keatles that started that 5-run inning for Post State in that 5th inning. If they get another 5-run inning here, well, it will almost end the ball game. It'll make it a 9-run lead. They'd have to get a 6-run inning to actually end the ball game here in the bottom of the 6th inning. But Brady Christoffels will now pitch and try and keep this, though, a 9-5 game to the top of the 7th. Cade Hinkle's 0 for 1. He walked and then flew out to center field. The first pitch misses low for ball 1 from Christoffels.
Yeah, Hinkle, the blue collar everyday catcher for Post State. It's rare that you see a lineup that Coach Brian White puts together that doesn't have Cade Hinkle with the number 2 written behind it someplace in that order.
The 1-0 pitch is lined to the first baseman. Evenson enters the ball game and makes the play over at first. And the leadoff man is retired in the lineout. Now bring up Garrett Stout, who is 0 for 2 so far, but he has been on base and scored twice. Reached on a fielder's choice and also then was hit by a pitch. First pitch is outside for ball 1 to Stout.
Stout started that rally last time after getting hit by a pitch, and then the wheels just kind of came off for Sioux Falls East after that here in the bottom of the fifth.
1-0 pitch. That one misses high and outside. 2-0. Stout thought that one looked pretty good to be letter high and on the outside edge. Try and put that one over the fence. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That one will be fought off into shallow right field. Coming in, sliding and making the catch is the right fielder in Runge, and there's now 2 down. And a good play out there in right from the Sioux Falls East right fielder.
Yeah, just almost in the exact same spot that Andy Gordon dropped his base hit into right field. But for Stout, he got a little bit more of that ball and was able to muscle it out a little further into right field. And Runge had to come in a long way, but made a nice catch to retire Stout for the second out of the inning.
Here's Lincoln Keenels, looks at strike one, trying to go 4 for 4 on the day. He's got a single and 2 doubles. The 0-1 pitch, that one will bounce in, and it's now 1-1. And he came up to the plate in the bottom of the first inning with nobody on base and got a single, but he's had guys on base the other 2 times he's come to the plate. Here's the 1-1-2. Keenels, there's a ground ball to the left side, fielded by the third baseman Schaefer. The throw to first, and it is not going to be a 4 for 4 day for Keenels as he is retired to end the bottom of the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. Post State 3 outs away from beating Sioux Falls East for the second time here this season. If you listen to Post State Baseball, today is KCCR, and today is KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to the top of the 7th inning, it is going to be 6, 7, and 8. Andrew Evenson will lead things off, followed by Brady Christoffels and Jaden Federal. If anybody reaches base, so we'll go to the number 9 hitter and Trey Runge. As Sioux Falls East needs 4 runs to keep the ball game alive, Matt Lusk will hope to have other plans and end this ball game here shortly. You're listening to KCCR Pierre, Riverfront Broadcasting Station, as we hit the 6 o'clock hour here with the here on this Monday evening. First of 3 games at Hyde Stadium. Post State will play the first and third game as that first pitch is grounded to the left side. Garrett Stout will field, and 1 pitch and 1 out. Here to open up the top of the 7th. Evenson didn't even see a pitch. He just went up there hacking right away. And there's 1 down. That'll bring up Brady Christoffels.
Yep. What are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Sioux Falls East order. Good place to be if you're Matt Lusk.
First pitch to Christoffels. Misses inside for ball 1. He is 0 for 3. Fielder's choice. Strikeout victim, and he flew out to center field. And his 3 at-bats so far. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one is flown out of play, now 1-1. Jaden Federal is on deck. It'll be a half an hour or so, right around a half an hour after we get done with this ball game for the second game to start. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one's out towards left field. Is it going to stay fair all the way down? And it will stay fair. Out to the corner of the wall out in left field. And it'll be a 1-out double for Brady Christoffels. Second time he has been on base. His first hit here in the ball game, and that was about another foot to the left, and that would have been just a long strike. But Christoffels placed it perfectly down the left field line.
Yeah, just right on the line about the sign down the left field line at Hyde Stadium says 324. So that ball was hit about 300 feet and about 300 feet long and about 1 foot fair.
That'll be the left fielder now, Jaden Federal, to step to the plate. That was a perfect analogy to that one. 300 by 1.
300 by 1.
That's the first
We're
pitch
doing a
is
lot of
outside.
numbers today.
Hey, that's the game of baseball. The geometry part of baseball, I guess, on the analytics side, you can say all the StatCast and all that stuff is all about geometry and the launch angle and all that good stuff. As it's now a 1-1 count here to Federal. But unfortunately, we don't have our research department, which I say that as Bradley. He is not here to try and break down all these launch angles that we're seeing. The 1-1's a swing and a miss, now 1-2. As Federal's 0 for 2, he had a sac fly RBI in his top of the second, strikeout and then a fly out to center field. Looking very similar to what Brady Christoffels had in his line for the first 3 plate appearances.
Just a quick side note, the assistant coach for Sioux Falls East is Wade Kipley, a former teacher here at Pierre Riggs High School. Moved on to Sioux Falls, I think, about 3 years ago or so. But nice to see Wade back here in the capital city.
Count is 2-2 to Federal. The left-handed hitting left fielder waits on the 2-2 pitch from Lusk outside. Now 3-2.
And again, right now you're up. Post 8's up 4. Even though Sioux Falls East has a runner on second base, you really are just worried about working the batter. I mean, you'll trade a run for an out right here if you can get one. It's just a matter of you just gotta preserve this lead and get out of here with the W.
3-2 pitch, fly ball out to left field. Iverson will backpedal. He'll get underneath it, makes the catch, and there's now 2 down. And Post 8 and out away from picking up the first win of the ball game, or first win of the day here at Hyde Stadium, as it'll bring up Trey Runge. Runge is 1 for 1, been on base 3 times. He doubled in the 4th, and he was walked in the 2nd and 5th inning. Minot Sioux Falls East will play about half an hour after this ball game concludes. And then half an hour after that game is over, Pierre and Minot will face off for the second time this year, which I would think will probably be about somewhere around a 9 o'clock start, as it's now 1-1 to Runge.
Now, Runge really wanted to deposit that ball in Capitol Creek. That was a big swing and a miss that he put on the Matt Lusk fastball.
Here's the 1-1 pitch from Lusk to Runge, and that one's over for strike 2. And now Post 8 a strike away from picking up their 18th victory of the season, which would put them back to 10 games over 500.
And pick up an important South Dakota win for the post-season seeding standings.
1-2 pitch is grounded to the right side. Coverdale will field a throw to first. Gordon, he stay on the bag. He did. And he makes a diving catch at first base to end the ball game. And Post 8 wins it 9-5 here in the game 1 of the day. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. Post 8 wins it 9-5 over Sioux Falls East here in game 1. We'll step aside for 2 minutes, come back to wrap up this first ball game. You're listening to Post 8 Baseball on today's KCCR, today's KCCR.com. Back here at Hyde Stadium as we welcome you to the post-game show of game number 1. Post State wins 9-5 over Sioux Falls East as we go through the line totals here. 5 runs on 7 hits, 4 errors, 8 men left on base for Sioux Falls East. For Post State, 9 runs on 8 hits, 1 error, and they only left 2 guys on base. 2 of those guys that reached base were recorded on an out by Andy Gordon as he was picked off twice, but he also brought Coverdale home on both of those times that he was thrown out at between first and second. But Post State picks up 9-5 win. They trailed 5-4 after 4 innings, and a 5-run fifth propelled them to this victory. And another come-from-behind win for Post State, but also one that didn't go their way in that 4th inning after having a 17-minute delay. It really did not go their way, getting right back to play. But they didn't break. They didn't allow that game to defeat them. They came back and played well, especially in that bottom of the 5th inning.
Yeah, and for Post State, even though his line score probably doesn't look great. I mean, give credit to Jack Van Camp. I mean, coming out of that rain delay, even though it only ended up being a little less than 20 minutes, he came out and battled through 4 innings and ran into a little trouble in the top of the 4th. But overall, I thought he pitched relatively well. Just got into a little bit of a jam there in the 4th, and then it was up to the Post State bats and the bullpen to put some things together and come in behind Van Camp and pull out that victory, and an important victory for Post State today.
Yeah, Bennett Dean will actually pick up the win. Matt Lusk will have the save as he came in to record the final 6 outs of the ball game. The 9-5 win here for Post State as they will now wait between games now as Sioux Falls East and Minot will face, and then it'll be Minot and Post State that will play. And we expect that game to start somewhere around 9 o'clock here tonight as we got done just, let's see, this ball game took 2 hours and 7 minutes with a 17-minute rain delay in there. So just a little under an hour and 50 minutes it was, right at an hour and 50 minutes, I should say, in that ball game. But this game will start a little after 6:30, and you expect somewhere around a 2-hour ball game to get over about 8:30. We have senior night here as well, so they will be honored before the game, which will take just a little bit of extra time in between ball games, but not too much. So 9 o'clock is where we expect this ball game to be played, where to start, and then so we'll be on the air around 8:45 to get you back for that second game. But we also want to make the mention too that there is severe thunderstorm watches to the west of the Hughes County, west of Pierre and Fort Pierre, as we have that. Those are out throughout the evening and into tonight. So the chances of us of getting through both games here tonight are not as more fingers crossed than what we usually have. And even last Thursday we didn't get through that second game, but we're still obviously going to try here. Minot's going to be here overnight. They're going to be playing. We're going to be playing tomorrow at 12 in that game. Their little getaway day for that to get back to Minot after playing at 12 tomorrow afternoon on your Tuesday. So 8:45 is where we expect to be on again for game number 2 of the day for Post State, but the chances of rain are still we're kind of holding our breath, crossing our fingers that we can get that second game in.
Yeah, there is a severe thunderstorm watch for most of western South Dakota. It does not include Stanley or Hughes County at this time, but it comes right up to the western border of Stanley County, includes Ziebach, Haken, and Jackson counties. So certainly, based upon our experience with severe weather over the last several days, you got to figure that severe weather will probably push to the east as we work our way through the evening. So keep an eye to the sky and keep your radio on, and I'm sure between Zach and DT back at the station, and we'll keep you up to date on the baseball game, and they'll keep you up to date on the weather throughout the evening. So a good place to stay is KCCR throughout the rest of this Monday night.
Post State wins game 1 here over Sioux Falls East, as that will wrap up coverage of game 1. Back on the air right around 8:45 as we have to wait between Sioux Falls East and Minot as they play first, and then we'll have Pierre and Minot, weather pending, of course, that is, here coming up later on this evening. So we'll send things back to the station as you've been listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com.